Previously on Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper.
Okay. So basically what I'm getting is, he's a blonde-haired man with a nice little mustache, with a plethora of clothing, with olive skin, and a tendency to murder people. Is that what I'm getting? That's what I'm getting. I don't know the actual case,
when he first spoke about the Castro murder with Watson, he was reading a newspaper, The Star, dated September.
I mean, you know it's going to be inaccurate because of the fact that I assume, catch him. I would assume that it's not going to just end and they're just like, I don't know. We never figured it out. I'm not sure where I'm going exactly. I'm going somewhere. I would assume Whitechapel because it's a fucking massive circle, but maybe I'm going over to that.
Nothing of interest here.
Okay. We going here?
I have no reason to go that way.
Okay, cool. I wasn't listening to where I was going, so...
Nothing of interest here.
Where am I going? There we go. Last fucking dot. Okay.
Ah, bullying is there. It won't hurt just this once.
Why are you laughing at me, Mom?
Hello, Mr. Bulling. So, did your colleague tell you about the tip?
What tip?
Ah, I see. I gave him an explosive tip and he went without you? Oh, that's not very sporting on his part. No doubt he took all of the credit for his discovery.
You're winding me up, eh?
I must show Bulling something to make him believe me.
Do I have this?
What do you want?
I'm not winding you up. The proof is that he gave me this advance on the debt.
The traitor! He owes me if I find him!
Before I leave, can you do me a favor?
Heck, tell me.
I'm looking for some reliable info on the murders committed in Whitechapel in the months before Polly Nichols' attack.
Reliable? Ha! You really think you'll find that here? Fine. I'll be honest with you. We have folders that group the dispatches from the current year into categories. In the police law category, you'll find the transcripts from the trials and investigations that we sell to the newspapers that ask us.
Perfect.
Sadly, I am out of time. I'll leave you to solve it, eh? You're the detective, aren't you?
But anywho, I wasn't listening because I was busy reading chat. Well, it happens.
Dossiers are full of papers in dated envelopes. I can't open them. That would be too obvious. How can I tell which compartment to look in? No categories are indicated.
The one that says police. What? The weather. Nothing. We don't care about the weather. Can I look at these?
An envelope is torn. I can tell that this dispatch contains economic information.
Okay. Economic meaning economy.
This compartment was repaired recently.
Okay, that doesn't tell me anything. Can I really not look at anything else?
An envelope is torn.
Yeah, I got that. Why?
This compartment was
so
repaired
small.
recently.
The box is so small compared to the other ones. I don't know what that one would be, though. Just because it's been updated recently doesn't mean baloney. I don't see anything. I don't know. Let's go with front page. I don't freaking know. How am I supposed to know this? Let's do... Maybe front page was used a lot. So
this
now,
compartment was...
I mean, it kind of looks like there's a guitar on that, but I don't think that's what's going on, because it kind of looks like the same thing over here. And down here, and everywhere else. Right? Yeah, where I'm just like trying to put the right things in order, and he's like, "No, it's wrong. Fuck you, it's wrong." How am I supposed to figure out what these are? Let me, whoop, not inventory. I was looking for a hint button. Okay, there's no hint button. Perfect. Inventions and Sciences has just a few things. Right? Most every other Sherlock, I'm pretty sure, would be like, "No, but let me at least help you a skosh so that you kind of get where you're going, you know, give you some hints to get you on your way." No. That's not how it works here. Not in 1800 Sherlock. Society gets this one. Why is this one randomly smaller? Why can't I click on anything else? That's what I want to know. Let's see, we got, I don't know. I'm just gonna fucking put them in there. Lots of police. Lots of culture. No personality. How's that? How am I supposed to know? And why is this fucking violin in the back just so much right now? Is it gonna fucking turn any of them green if I get it right? That's my question. I don't know. I'm just gonna look up the thing. I'm just gonna look up at the first few and see. I just read the first thing. It's just like, look around the room for clues. Well, why can't the clues just fucking be over there? Dear Ferdinand, I'm confirming my presence on Friday evening at the club. I will be with pleasure, because I must get my mind off things or risk falling into a black depression. Just imagine the new laddie still has the favors of Janet. But she'll end up forgetting him and giving in to me, because I am not lacking in ideas to get rid of her suitors. Yesterday I randomly placed a few inventions and science with politics dispatch. Cool. After all, they are always harebrained items, given that the compartments are one on top of the other. Okay, it could have easily passed as one of the new lad's heirs, and as anticipated, he was called in by the boss. As soon as I have a chance, I will show him how, like in the news, everything is in the balance. He looks like a half-wit. He could easily confuse politics with the society section on its right, and this ladder with economy. This ladder with economy? I'm not sure where that would put it. Which is its neighbor. Okay, probably just the other way then. I don't know how intelligent a girl like Janet can be with like a swat like him, but he doesn't have much longer to smile. Goddamn. Alright, so inventions in science is either on top or below politics, and on the right side of, which one was it? On the right side of politics is society, and on the other side it has economy. So let me just go do that right fast. So somewhere in here, fucking reset. So we have politics, we got fucking culture, wasn't it? No. Go wait. What was it again? I'm slowly forgetting. Society, police, go. What the fuck was it? Police? I am forgetting. Economy. I am forgetting. Let me look back. Whoopsie. No, not reset. God damn it. Can I inventory? Can I look at this? Okay, good. Okay, so inventions in science, politics. Inventions in science. I'm gonna put this one here. I'm gonna put politics here. And then it's society on the right. and economy being the other way. Or let's see, society. Society! And economy being its neighbor? So would that put it like this then? Mayhaps? I would like to leave, please. Alright, what does this say? To improve the dispatch filing purpose, major info up high accept labels in brief minor and down low accept police law. Thus, in future propose also to invert news in brief, which is for the moment up and high, the police law, which is actually down low. Furthermore, the weather section is almost always empty, which I fucking guessed. Oh, God. Okay, so the weather is that corner, which I fucking guessed. Goddamn! Why is this 2 pages? Oh, my dear George, your little brother has had some misfortune. My first week of work was very grueling. First, I was given a spot far from the stove, and I am very cold in the morning. Next, I have to sort through the dispatches in one of the most tedious and boring work imaginable. Once the work is done, I must take each envelope in the journalist in question, who won't even deign to look at me. Finally, I end up at the end of my 3rd day, the boss called me into his office to give me a sermon. It seems that I had mixed up the dispatches. I was so worn out that I could only protest half-heartedly. He gave me a second chance. So now I'm in a sticky situation. Not only a hopeful note comes from my colleagues, Miss Fithin, a charming young woman who is, I assume that's Janet, who is only one to give me a smile. She helps me as much as she can and tries to promote me regarding which compartment I should put my dispatches. Because everyone here knows the order of the sections, but no one has bothered to tell me, the lady has so much compassion and slides me all these notes such as politics and society are on the side. Helpful. Sports is underneath economy. Okay, sports. Okay. Personalities is at the end of the row. Front page news is in the first compartment. Okay. And these are confidential, almost words of love from her mouth. I don't think that she likes placing the envelopes on the desks at all, because she ends up with some things that are very disturbing. I have volunteered for the task, much to everyone's displeasure. Nothing new concerning my landlady, but I managed to pay her for the week and she consented to keep me. Doesn't say anything about my troubles to the mumsy. I don't want to alarm her, but I'm not wanting to lie to her. I have chosen to not write. With warmest regards, your brother Albert. Okay, so sports is underneath the one thingy. There we go. And then it was saying that front page, right, was the first one? Is that what it said? Personalities is at the end of the row, so that's one of the two. So that's probably going to be personalities right above the weather. Can I not? No, it's this one. I want sports is underneath economies, politics, society are on the side. And then what was the front page is the first, okay. And then, so that means this one is here. Now I just need to go find where the other 3 are. Excuse me, people who just leave this bullshit on the desk for anyone to find. Okay, repair the wood of the news and brief compartment. Cool. Useful. Sec. Where does that put personalities, then? Personalities is at the end of the row. Useful. What do you mean, end of the row? I'm just gonna skedoodle for the moment. Alright, goddamn. As the agency receives numerous dispatches, the filing system that you made appears to be too small, particularly for the World and Society section, which cover too much area and overflow into the boxes below. Police, law, and culture, respectively. Wait, what? So, the World and Society sections are exploding into the police, law, and culture section. Would you be able to furnish a device in order to keep only one filing cabinet while awaiting your response? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so... Goddamn. So the World and Society is fucking filled to the brim. So it's probably the World and Societies, right? World and Society, right? That was what it said. World and Society sections are overflowing into the police, law, and culture. Police, law, and culture. Maybe that one, this one? What is that?
These envelopes contain dispatches of police and judicial cases. Now, I need to open them discreetly. I must try to unglue the openings.
Oh my god, there's so many hands. Hey, look, a watering bucket.
Water. I need something.
Okay.
I need something.
Can I...
There, that will provide me with steam.
I just gotta wait.
Open, and it looks like I'm in luck. This envelope contains precious information.
Testimony of the Smith affair, day of inquest, Saturday, April 7th, 1888. God damn. Mr. Wayne E. Baxter, the East Middlesex coroner, had an inquiry on Saturday, the 7th of April, at the London hospital respecting the death of Emma Elizabeth Smith, aged 45, a widow lately living at 18 George Street, Spitalfields, who it was alleged had been murdered. Chief Inspector West of the H Division of Police attended for the Commissioners of Police. Miss Mary Russell, Deputy Keeper of the Common Knowledge Lodging House, stated that she had known the deceased for about 2 years, and on the evening of Bank Holiday, 2nd of April, she left home from 7 o'clock and returned at about 4 or 5 the next morning in a dreadful state. Her face and head were much injured. One of her ears being nearly torn off. Ew. She told the witness that she had been set upon and robbed of all her money. Witnesses took her to the hospital, and when passing along Osborne Street, the deceased pointed out the spot where she was assaulted. She said there were 3 men, but she could not describe them. Mr. George Haslip, house surgeon, stated that when the deceased was admitted to the hospital, she had been drinking but was not intoxicated. She was bleeding from the head and ear, and when other injuries of her revolting nature. Okay. Witness found that she was suffering from the rupture of the peritoneum, which had been perforated by some blunt instrument which? Yeah, that's a witch. Used with great force. The deceased told him that at 1:30 that morning she was passing near Whitechapel Church when she noticed some men coming toward her. She crossed the road to avoid them, but they followed. They assaulted her, took all the money she had, then committed the outrage. She was unable to say what kind of instrument they used, nor could she describe her assailants, except that she said that one was a youth of 19, death insured on Wednesday morning, 4th of April, through the set up by the injuries. Margaret Hayes, living at the same address as the deceased, deposed, okay, to seeing the Miss Smith in company with a man at the corner of Farratt Street and Burdent Road. The man was dressed in a dark suit and wore a white silk handkerchief around his neck, but was of medium height, but witness did not think she could identify him. Chief Inspector West, H Division, stated that he had no official information on this subject and was only aware of the case through the daily papers. He had questioned the constables on the beat, but none of them appeared to know anything about the matter. The coroner said that from the medical evidence, which must be true, I just added a had. It was clear that the women had been I was going to say barbarously, but that just didn't seem right. Murdered. It was impossible to imagine a more brutal and dastardly assault. He thought the ends of justice would be better met by the jury recording their verdict at once than by adjourning to some future date in the hope of having more evidence brought to them. The jury returned a verdict of willful murder against some person or persons unknown. The police are making every possible inquiry to the case, but up to yesterday, April 8th, had not any clue to the persons who committed the outrage. Okay. Last day of inquest, August 23rd, yesterday afternoon. Wait, this sounds familiar. Did I not read this? Okay. Deputy Coroner for the Southeast Middlesex, resumed the inquiry at the Working Lads Institute, Whitechapel, into the circumstance attending the death of Martha Turner, or Tabram, a hawker, lately living at the 4-Star Place, Star Street. God, that's boring. Okay, Commercial Road E. Okay, who was discovered early on the morning of Tuesday, on the 7th inst. Anyway, lying dead on the first floor landing of some model dwellings known as George Yard, Bellings, Commercial Street, Battlefields. Such a weird name. Spittle. Anyway, when found, the women presented a shocking appearance, there being 39 stab wounds on the body.
28 stab wounds.
Some of them apparently having been inflicted with a bayonet. What? Are we in the World War?
The information
Whoops.
excludes the murder of the
right-clicked.
first woman, Miss Smith. Jack the Ripper can't be the author of that crime. On the other hand, there are enough similarities to suggest he may be the killer of Martha Tabram. I must go to the pet shop.
Okay. Am I not gonna... Okay. Well, there goes that. Just gonna let that boiling.
I must go to the pet shop.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't read the second half of that, but whatever.
I must go to the pet shop.
Shut up! I understand. I'm at the pet shop. I'm
Closed
actually...
until further notice. Abraham isn't there. No luck.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Beep beep.
Oh.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Do you know why Mr. Solomonovich's shop is closed?
No, I don't. Perhaps his cousin, the cobbler, knows. But I believe the police came to take his animals. I think that might have something to do with it.
When was this?
During the day. The kids you were with the other day were there, they told me. They just came by to ask for some cat's meat. They didn't have any money, but I gave them some anyway. Huh.
Is something wrong?
It's just that there was a little girl with them, the same age as mine. My little girl who went away with her mother, with the angels into the sky.
Dr. Watson told me about your loss. Please accept my condolences. Would you like to talk about it? How did it happen?
The illness, my poor little girl was in agony, and her face and body were ravaged by the disease.
Her face?
Yes, she looked like a ghost.
What illness was it?
Dr. Gibbons tried to explain when I took my little girl to see him, but I didn't understand. I'm sure that he was trying to insinuate it was my fault. I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I understand. Farewell. Let's go and see Dr. Gibbons.
So what you find in there, Bailey? You find in that everything is completely different?
Hello, Doctor. Do you remember me? I'm Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson's friend.
Oh, yes. Excuse the mess, but I am doing a bit of tidying.
I have come to see you about a Mr. Hardyman, a cat food seller by trade, who recently lost his daughter and wife.
Yes, I know him. A tragic story.
Actually, I was hoping you could tell me about the disease that took his daughter, a disease that would have attacked her face.
Well, to keep it short, we are speaking of syphilis, Mr. Holmes. You must certainly know that it is transmitted through intimate connections and that the vast prostitute population here contributes to its inevitable progression. It destroys individuals by spreading through the body slowly. The most obvious symptoms can be found in the genitalia and on the face in the form of pustules or lesions. Sometimes this illness can destroy whole families. The father catches it from a prostitute, he transmits it to his wife, who in her turn passes it to the kids which she bears or nurses. These cases are numerous in the vicinity. Certain children, and this is the case of the little girl whom I won't name, suffer from an emaciation of the face which will, apart from predicting an imminent death, bring infamy upon the family.
Emaciation of the face?
Yes, what we sometimes call the pox. I will give you a photograph. One cannot be mistaken on the origin of such a face. The eyes seem to be void of lids. The nose is inexistent, as if it was cut off. And the cheeks are chiselled, as if cut with a knife. This loss of facial matter, this emaciation, is, in this area, often the gift from a father to his children.
Can I keep this photograph?
Oh.
I should destroy it. But if it can remind you that one must sometimes think twice before giving in to physical attraction...
I always seem to find myself alone in such cases. Thank you, Doctor.
So basically, it's that... I don't like hearing that person snoring in my ear. So basically, it's like that person that we saw.
Let's go to the cobbler's.
That's not what I wanted. Why is right-clicking just going to that? Okay.
Hello, Mr. Solomonovich.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, how are things with you?
I heard your cousin Abraham had a problem with his shop. What happened?
If I didn't know you well, I would tell you that it's Jewish business that doesn't concern anyone but the Jews. But as you have a little bit to do with it, you have the right to know what is going on.
Ah, would I have something to do with it?
Someone had seen Abraham telling you something and making big gestures near the Imperial Club. A vicious rumor quickly spread, and it has caused him great injustice. A slanderous denunciation attracted the authorities' attention to my cousin's shop. Abraham must be in the process of answering their questions.
I did, indeed, speak with your cousin the other night. I'm shocked at the consequences of this discussion.
As I was saying, it's the story of the Jews. In the face of adversity, we are united, but amongst ourselves, it's like anywhere else. As soon as our people take a dislike to someone, for right or wrong, we can be without pity and quite cruel.
Sound like you said, quite cool.
This is all very worrying. Your cousin knows one, or rather two, of the men who were at the Imperial Club on the night of the Mitre Square murder. One of the two, a butcher in Aldgate named Joseph, is probably withholding information of the utmost importance. I must find this man. Perhaps you can help me.
But there are dozens of Jewish butchers around Aldgate, half of which must be called Joseph. And you know, Mr. Holmes, we Jews prefer to remain in the background of this murderer business, this Jack the Ripper thing. All of London is pointing their fingers at us saying, it's a Jew who disemboweled these women. Our community is in great peril, you know. There was the business with Lipsky and Leather Apron. I will see what I can do, but I don't promise anything.
I'd be extremely grateful to you. Very well. We may meet again, Mr. Solomonovich.
You are most welcome, Mr. Holmes.
I've paced up and down Whitechapel enough. I should return to Baker Street in order to reflect on the new facts that I have discovered.
Okie dokie. Hello? You want to go?
Hello, Holmes.
Good day, Watson.
Listen, Holmes, I know I should have got here sooner to give you a report on my research, but this case has led me to neglect my patients and my wife more than I care to admit. I've been able to sort things out over the last few days, and now I am ready to pursue this investigation.
You don't have to justify yourself, Watson. Whilst I do tolerate you as an observer, and despite your occasional help with more menial tasks, may I remind you that you are by no means an indispensable part of this case.
Oh, you tolerate me as an observer, do you? Oh, you're too much, Holmes. Well, Mr. Detective, despite my absence, I have been working on this case, putting my relationship on the line in the process. And I happen to have a confidential letter that only passed from one lord's hand to another. What it contains is extremely serious and concerns Dr. Tumblety and his collection of uteri.
Let me see that.
I don't like just seeing this boy's gross face. My lord, be hereby assured of my entire collaboration in the affair, to which I must reply, no one will be able to cast or on our institution or ourselves. Our eminent colleagues support our policies, and they won't cooperate with the police as long as the higher interests that we serve aren't menaced. Let me get one of the violence out of my ears. As you mentioned, we must avoid having to explain to uncultured masses the of medical research. A general crisis of confidence will result in inevitable amalgamation. that the press would hasten to create between this and the hideous murders committed in the East End. To this end, East End, in fact, I tactfully invoked a rumor that you mentioned in your letter when I met with one of my colleagues. It turns out to have grounds, and these are specifics that I was able to obtain. 18 months thence. Why is it thence? An American doctor in London did in fact contact certain hospitals. His approach was aimed at getting stocks of feminine genitalia, particularly uteri. He was motivated initially by a finalization, of his research and of its publication. The doctor in question wanted to include a uterus specimen freshly conserved in formalin, with each of the research dissertations sent to each of the colleagues involved. A large quantity was thus necessary, and this doctor proposed to buy each of the uteri for £20 each. The hospital directors did not pay heed to these demands, of that I have been assured. Between you and I, my lord, who knows what strange consequences would have followed these demands of the American doctor? The rumors of these unusual commissions made the tour of the hospitals in question at the time, and has spread to others since. Simple day laborers employed in our organizations considered that the gain of £20 would justify a theft, perhaps worse. The identity of the doctor is unknown to me, but based on the recall of one of my colleagues, this man had the most impressive references. But after a bit of research I didn't find the existence of any publication with an eventual correlation on this or the other side of the Atlantic. The man left London shortly after his pitch, it would seem. I cannot help but think that he has perhaps returned to London and has found someone who might furnish him with what he is looking for.
Excellent. This American could turn out to be of great use to use.
That's right, and that's not all. I did some research and finally found an illness that affects the genitalia and can, in certain cases, cause facial symptoms resembling the mutilations seen on the last victim. It is called, would you believe?
Syphilis.
Syphilis and the emaciation that can be seen in affected children. I have known that for days, Watson.
Really?
Listen, now you're ready here, Watson, we may as well continue the investigation. Do you remember the map on which we established the area in which our killer lives? I think we should continue our study. Well, I discovered the case of another murder before that of Buck's Row. It happened in George Yard. We shall put it on the map in order to see if it corresponds to our area of research. We must place the murder of Martha Tabram in George Yard on the map.
Well, that's right in the circle.
That is where Martha Tabram's murder took place. There's no point going there. I already have all the information we need on that matter. You see, this murder took place in the area in which our killer lives, his safe zone. Nonetheless, there are two major differences between the murder of this Martha Tabram and that of Polly Nichols. Firstly, the blows inflicted are not the same.
And the second difference?
It follows on from a doctor's opinion. He claims two weapons might have been used, and if there is one group of people we absolutely must not trust in this business, it's doctors. Don't you agree, Watson?
Watch it, Holmes.
Tabram's murder took place in an area where the murderer, whose cowardice is clear, was able to make a quick getaway, that is to say, near his home. For his second murder, he would have wanted to go further afield, so the police would not link these two cases. And as for the other murders, seeing the ineffectiveness of his last one, he headed in different directions to kill his victims while still staying in the vicinity and without going any further than necessary, and all the while planning his escape. My dear Watson, we now know what this man looks like, in what area he lives, and that he suffered directly or indirectly from syphilis. Let's not forget the anatomical knowledge he must almost certainly possess. Given his lower-class background, a butcher seems very likely. However, it may be the case that the man was a butcher once, but is no longer. He might also have been a medical assistant. Who knows? That's why we need the testimonies of the other Joseph and Dr. Tumblety in order to be certain.
What shall we do, Holmes?
As the police's cooperation is futile and can be ruled out, we have nothing to do but wait. Watson, wait, and hope we see one of these two men before the killer strikes again.